Okay, ji, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students of Politics of Southeast Asia, today we are going to talk about US-Japan relationship and security of Southeast Asia, South and East Asia. So we are covering both regions because US-Japan relationship is impacting and pushing the Chinese also into this politics. And Chinese, they are very dominant power, dominant in Southeast Asia, and they are part of East Asia. So in that scenario, this particular topic is very important, and we need to understand this in detail. Let's first of all look into the geographical position of Japan. Japan is a very important country in East Asia, and we all know that they are the fourth largest economy as well, with I think estimated $5.8 trillion economy. They are one of the most influential country in the world without nuclear weapons. But politically, they are a very strong country. They are well connected with the US. And because of their economy, they are well connected not only in this region, Asia Pacific, but also beyond this region. They hold huge significance because of their economic muscle. So they are one of the important countries, second largest, you can say, and second most important country in East Asian region, and after China. So we need to understand about Japan. This is their geography. They are basically a maritime nation surrounded by samandars, lots of samandars. And in the nearby context, they are closely connected with South Korea, North Korea, and of course China. And because of that, the geopolitics of this region revolve around these four countries: China, North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. And the extra regional power, America is also in this region, located Okinawa in with a huge base, and they also have got their aircraft carrier here in this region, and their nuclear subs, along with many other things which are very, very important, and which are adverse to the Chinese maritime security. We need to understand the trilateral relationship. First of all, among US, South Korea, Japan, and then their adversarial relationship. This block is with the North Koreans and the Chinese. So in the whole perspective, we are going to analyze all these things in today's lecture. First of all, let's look at quickly the facts sheet of Japan. That why Japan is important. It's not that big country, but it is huge country with about 377,000 square kilometer area, a population of 126 million. But this most of this population is well educated and skilled population. And technologically, Japan is one of the leading countries in the world in automobiles and other things. So, which makes Japan an important, part of the global economy. If we look at their, economy, that is about $5.7, $5.8 trillion according to recent estimates, which is huge, which makes Japan fourth largest economy in the world right now. And they are, divided in many, many islands. They have got about 6,852 islands along the Pacific coast. So they have got huge footprint in this region. Historically speaking, we'll start, Japan had always been a huge empire. It was imperial power before the World War II, and they had huge naval force, they had huge economy, and they followed the, Alfred Thayer Mahan's dictum that a country must have strong maritime force so it can control the destinies of the world. So Japanese followed that particular advice, and they had a huge naval force prior to World War II, and they are also regarded and remembered as the country which carried out a devastating attack on Pearl Harbor, in which they destroyed the American naval base. in which more than 3,000 American Marines, they were killed, and hundreds of ships were destroyed in that particular campaign. Followed by that, America ultimately used nuclear weapons on Japan. Ultimately, Japan surrendered, and Japan was controlled by the US and their allies for a few years. And during that period, Japan was under the occupation of the US, and US officials, they formulated Japanese constitution, and according to that constitution, um, Article 9 of that constitution says that the use of war, stating that land, sea, and air forces, as well as other war potential, will never be maintained. So it was obligatory for the Japanese not to maintain military force, army, air force, navy, or they when the nuclear weapons were used against this country, they abandoned the quest for nuclear weapons. Yes, they had more than 100 nuclear reactors for civil nuclear energy, and if they want to, develop nuclear weapon, they can develop within a year or two. But the problem is they don't want to achieve these type of things. So they are currently they are peace-loving country. They are not going for any sort of aggressive approach against its neighbors. But things are now changing, fast, and the same Americans who put strings on them not to develop military capabilities, now they are helping them to develop some aggressive capabilities. We'll discuss in the coming slides. After the Korean War in 1950, US pressed the establishment of Japanese National Paramilitary Force, which in 1954 became the Self-Defense Forces. So after the Korean War experience, in which North Korea took on the South Koreans with the help of Chinese and the Russians, Japanese decided to have self-defense forces under the umbrella of US. And definitely US would always, also, maintain their presence in that particular area. So it was decided. United States of America provided them with extended nuclear